I know this might seem obvious to some of you, but when you're working on improving your writing, it's helpful to break down the elements of an essay and think about their purpose and function in clarifying your ideas in writing. In this video, we're going to focus on paragraphs. What is a paragraph? Essentially, a paragraph is a way of organizing information within a longer piece of writing. It helps your reader understand the logic of what you're communicating by signaling when you're moving from one part of what you're saying to the next part. There are many different kinds of academic essays, but in most of them, there are 3 kinds of paragraphs that you'll need to think about. The introductory paragraph in your essay should be the first paragraph and lets your reader know what to expect as they keep reading. Body paragraphs, and we'll talk a little bit more about those in a minute, and conclusions, which typically are the last paragraph, and they kind of wrap everything together and remind your reader what your point was. No matter what kind of paragraph you're writing, it should have 4 basic elements. It should be unified, it should stay on topic, keep to the focus of the paragraph. If you feel like you're ready to change topics, maybe it's time for a new paragraph. It should be coherent, in other words, each sentence that is a part of the paragraph should belong there and relate to the other sentences. The sentences should be in an order that makes sense, with each one building on the one before. And finally, it should feel complete. Don't leave us hanging and don't assume that your reader will interpret evidence the same way that you do. Explain everything clearly and explicitly. Most of the paragraphs you write this semester will be body paragraphs, and each one will have a similar internal logic or structure. Body paragraphs should have a topic sentence. Think of it as a mini introduction for your paragraph, in which you tell us what that paragraph will focus on. Ideally, the topic sentence also makes clear the connection with the overall point of your whole essay. Then the meat of the paragraph, your evidence, examples, and supporting sentences that expand on and clarify the paragraph's focus. And finally, a concluding sentence that sets up to transition to the next topic. And just like your body paragraphs will make up most of your essay, supporting sentences will make up most of your paragraphs. So here are some things you might want to think about including as the meat of your body paragraphs. Evidence that supports your main point, further explanation, a story that helps us understand what you're talking about, examples, additional examples or elaboration to clarify your point, and always try to be as specific as possible. Dog is more specific than animal, poodle is more specific than dog, and miniature poodle named Daisy is more specific than poodle. The more specific your evidence, examples, and details, the more clearly your reader will understand what you mean. And finally, the question you've all been waiting for, with an answer guaranteed to disappoint. How long should a paragraph be? As long as it needs to. But here's what that really means. Every paragraph, and especially body paragraphs, should be long enough that you have time to fully develop your idea. An essay with many short paragraphs is often an indication of fragmented thinking or disorganization. As a general rule, 2 or 3 sentences are probably not going to be enough to fully develop a supporting idea. On the other hand, paragraphs should be short enough that they can stay focused on one idea. A paragraph that goes on for a full page or more is usually trying to cover too much. As a general rule, 8 or 10 sentences might mean you're focusing on more than one idea. See if you can break that up into some shorter paragraphs. And that's it. You can take a minute to consider your paragraph structure and content at any point during the writing process, from planning your essay to making final edits. And it's usually a good idea to do both.